Welcome to today's presentation. Have you ever questioned the honesty of your government? Have you felt a growing sense of dissatisfaction with the current political landscape? Do you feel you've been lied to by your leaders? If so, you're not alone. Today, we delve into the rising discontent among citizens and the challenges faced by alternative parties in New Zealand's political arena. In this presentation, we will explore the struggles and obstacles faced by those seeking alternatives to traditional political options. But fear not, for we will also delve into potential solutions that can pave the way for a brighter political future. So sit back and relax and prepare to dive into the pressing issues surrounding government honesty, the increasing dissatisfaction, and the quest for alternative parties. Together, we will uncover the path towards a solution that can reshape the political landscape of our beloved New Zealand, once affectionately known as God's Own. So, thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey, and let's begin. Before I begin this presentation, I'm excited to share a collection of powerful photographs capturing the resilience of the Freedom Village that evolved on the grounds of Parliament during February of 2022. These photos reveal the hardships and discrimination faced by these Kiwi citizens, unjustly labelled a river of filth and treated as third class. My mission was to challenge prejudices and stereotypes, humanize these individuals, and remind us of their worth, their beauty, and their generosity. Each image tells a unique story of struggle, strength, generosity, and community. The vast majority were hard-working Kiwis who felt they had been unfairly treated and lied to by their government. Reflect on their significance, embrace visual storytelling's power, and join the ongoing fight for justice and equality. I'd like to begin this presentation with a disclosure. I was behind a scheme to deliver mass support for the ACT Party, thus making it the kingmaker. However, as time progressed, it became evident that too many of our supporters could not get past the current leader of ACT, David Seymour, who was deeply immersed in populist politics and who had repeatedly, and to this day, insulted and denigrated the people such as those you see in these photos. Consequently, it became clear by January of this year that our initial plan to get him behind ACT was not viable. Today I present an alternative approach, or what we may refer to as Plan B, but it is better than Plan A. While our original intentions may have shifted, our commitment to effective positive change remains unwavering. Let's support this new strategy, its potential impact, and the steps we must take to navigate through this ever-evolving political realm. Together, we will analyse the challenges, discuss innovative ideas, and forge a path towards a future that upholds our core values and aspirations for the country we once called God's Own. Friends, I don't know about you, but I know I have been lied to and betrayed by every member of Parliament, including the opposition. We offer a solution, one that addresses all citizens' concerns and paves the way towards a more responsive and inclusive governance system. This plan aims to empower alternative parties and encourage citizen engagement. Together we can build a brighter future for New Zealand, restoring God's own freedom and democracy. So thank you for being here today. Now let's embark on this journey together and explore the possibilities ahead. Friends, recent observations indicate that approximately 60% of voting Kiwis have developed a growing sense of unease with our current governance, including opposition parties. This widespread dissatisfaction speaks volumes, highlighting the urgent need for change and alternatives in our political landscape. The status quo no longer meets the expectations and aspirations of the people. It is crucial that we acknowledge and address these sentiments as concerned citizens. By recognizing the magnitude of this discontent, we can come up with viable solutions. We must listen to the concerns of our fellow Kiwis and actively consider approaches to governance that better align with their values and aspirations. Let's harness this desire for change as a catalyst for action, fostering an inclusive, transparent, and accountable political environment. Let us seize this opportunity to make a positive impact. In a democracy, the interests of the majority and the minority should be equally valued and protected. When legislation favours a select few while disadvantaging the majority, or when it benefits most at the expense of a few, it amounts to governmental tyranny. Similarly, if legislation prioritises foreign interests over those of its own citizens, it is also a form of tyranny. Examples such as Three Waters, co-governance, and the Therapeutic Products Bill exemplify this tyrannical behaviour. A true democracy must always operate in the best interests of all its people, ensuring fairness and justice for every citizen and not just a few. Freedom and democracy, that's the bottom line. The perception among many is that the opposition parties in New Zealand are either weak or aligned with the ruling coalition, and they are not prioritising the best interests of the citizens. There is a belief that the government and the opposition parties are influenced by external forces like the World Economic Forum's Great Reset and Fourth Industrial Revolution, the United Nations Agenda 2030, and influential entities like Big Pharma, the Gates Foundation, and others that override our aspirations for freedom and democracy. It is fair to raise concerns about their independence and whether they are truly working for the well-being of us, their people, or for others. The prevailing opinion is that none of the parties currently in Parliament are considered suitable for governing or representing the values of freedom and democracy, and their recent actions have resulted in a loss of public mandate. Acknowledging this reality, we are witnessing a surge of new political parties emerging. However, the question remains, do these new parties have a genuine chance of success? The challenge lies in overcoming established political structures and gaining sufficient support from the electorate. These emerging parties have great potential for reshaping the political landscape, but the challenges they face are daunting. We estimate at least 30% and potentially 60% of voters show a willingness to support and vote for a party outside of the current parliamentary options. This trend indicates a strong desire for change and disconnection from traditional political choices. However, the question arises, when it comes to freedom and democracy, who should these voters place their trust in? Exploring the options available and evaluating the potential of these emerging parties, then sharing this information becomes crucial in guiding voters towards a meaningful and impactful choice. But do not rely on mainstream media and traditional political polling to do this for us. They are no longer our friends. They are the enemy. So, in response to the prevailing discontent with the loss of freedom and democracy, we are witnessing the emergence of several alternative parties across the country. We can include Winston Peters and New Zealand First with these. Some of these parties are already registered, while others are in the process of formation. These parties share a common goal, which is to challenge the status quo and offer voters fresh perspectives with freedom and democracy as core values. It's an exciting time as these parties strive to bring about positive change and shape the future of our nation. But who do we support and who do we vote for? One significant challenge the minor parties face is breaking through the dominance of established political entities that have historically controlled the political narrative. These entrenched parties have built strong networks, established support bases, and shaped public perception over time. And they are in bed with mainstream media to control the narrative. ACT, for example, has spent millions of dollars over more than 2 decades. Their leaders have danced with the stars, and they've only survived all this time by being National's lapdog. Even now, ACT may still not have sufficient name recognition or credibility to survive on its own. So can a new Freedom and Democracy Party achieve similar recognition in just a few months? This is a big ask, but I think it is possible because we're in unusual times and there is an unprecedented mood for change, fueled by a sense of urgency and betrayal. The alternative parties face several challenges in their journey. First, other than New Zealand First and Winston Peters, there is a lack of name recognition for the parties and their leaders, making it difficult to gain widespread support. Additionally, the lack of funding hinders their ability to run effective campaigns and reach a broader audience. Infrastructure limitations and the expected growing pains pose further hurdles. Moreover, controlled opposition and agents provocateurs within their ranks can undermine their efforts. Lastly, censorship and legacy media biased towards incumbent parties create a hostile environment for newcomers. The upcoming election is of immense significance for all of us. If we fail to become the kingmaker, our chances of success later on diminish significantly. We are probably stuffed. Parliament will shut down any real opposition to their cosy setup after the election by rushing through oppressive laws such as the control of hate speech and scientific and ethical debate on contentious topics such as genetic engineering. We just won't be allowed those discussions. Even if there is substantial support, let's say 20% or more, for a change in leadership, it becomes meaningless if the votes are split amongst multiple political parties. The fragmentation of votes will fatally dilute our collective impact. It is crucial for everyone who values freedom and democracy to strategically collaborate to consolidate support, maximize our influence, and ensure that our voice for change is heard loud and clear in the election, that we are the kingmakers. If we're not the kingmakers, we are stuffed. That's the big message. Alternative parties face challenges in obtaining sufficient campaign funding, which puts them at a disadvantage compared to well-funded mainstream parties. Limited financial resources impede their efforts to raise awareness, promote their platforms, and capture public attention. This financial disparity hampers their ability to effectively compete and gain the necessary momentum to rally widespread public support. It undermines the importance of exploring creative fundraising strategies, grassroots support, and leveraging alternative avenues for communication to overcome this funding gap and level the playing field in political campaigns. An obvious strategy is for all the emerging freedom and democracy parties to merge into one, putting egos aside to consolidate their resources. A second accompanying strategy is to put our votes and resources behind an established party that best represents the values of Middle New Zealand and freedom and democracy. After all, why go to the trouble of reinventing what already exists? More about this. Mainstream media outlets are owned and operated by the government these days, leading to limited coverage and exposure for alternative parties and their candidates. This lack of media visibility creates an additional challenge as it restricts opportunities for alternative parties to connect with the broader electorate. Without sufficient media coverage, these parties struggle to convey their platforms, policies, and messages effectively to the public. An obvious strategy is to get in behind a party and their leadership that already commands mainstream media attention and has name recognition by Middle New Zealanders. New Zealand's electoral system poses additional challenges for alternative parties, especially smaller ones. If a party fails to secure at least 5% of the party vote or win an electorate seat, they end up with no representation or influence in Parliament. This threshold makes it difficult for emerging freedom and democracy parties to gain a foothold and have their voices heard. It highlights the importance of strategic campaigning and not splitting the vote. Let's keep positive and encouraged. Despite the formidable challenges they face, alternative freedom and democracy parties are displaying remarkable resilience and determination in their pursuit of making a difference. By building a dedicated support base, they are creating a strong foundation for their movement. This grassroots approach empowers them to connect with citizens on a personal level, understanding their concerns, and develop policies that truly reflect the needs and aspirations of the people. All of them are commendable, well-intentioned, and deserving of our support, including our votes. But in the end, we must support one, and one alone, such as politics. In light of the upcoming election, it is crucial that we unite and consolidate our support behind a single alternative party that is committed to freedom and democracy. To achieve this, we propose an innovative solution inspired by the America's Cup, an alternative party challenger selection series. This selection series, which is already underway, has the various alternative parties in New Zealand, whether they like it or not, competing against each other in a fair and transparent manner. Ultimately, this process will lead to the identification of the strongest alternative party, which we can collectively rally behind in the election. But how do we identify the winner, and what happens to the losing candidates? As we near election day, 6 weeks out from polling, we will identify the best and only challenger who will represent the causes of freedom and democracy in the upcoming election. We will identify the leading contender by independent polling, which is already underway. This simple solution aims to enhance freedom and democracy by giving voters a clear choice and an opportunity to shape the future of our nation. Now let's delve into it more deeply. But first, let's talk about the idea of creating a grand marriage of minor parties, such as the umbrella organisation Freedom and Rights Coalition. It sounds fantastic, but there are challenges to consider. Firstly, infighting is inevitable when you bring together parties with different agendas, and it confuses the public. Then there's the matter of egos. Politics attract big personalities, parties with unpleasant baggage, and multiple leaders vying for influence. It's messy. It's like a reality TV show with everyone wanting to be the star. It just won't work. Checkmate for us is being the kingmaker after the next election, and in a game of chess, members of the team must be prepared to be sacrificed. But in the end, keeping freedom and democracy as the final and only goals, by being the kingmaker, we can make a real impact. It won't be easy getting there, but nothing worthwhile ever is. Right? Do you agree with that? Through the proposed Challenger selection series, the party that consistently polls the highest will become the official challenger. This process aims to prevent the disastrous splitting of the vote among multiple alternative parties. By selecting the party with the strongest public support and momentum 6 weeks out, we can consolidate the votes of those seeking change and increase the chances of gaining a significant share of the popular vote. This strategic approach allows for a unified challenge to the incumbent parties, potentially capturing as much as 20% of the alternative vote and thus becoming the kingmaker. The Challenger Selection Series offers a solution that combines competition, collaboration, and strategic thinking to empower alternative parties and strengthen their chances of making a substantial impact in the election. It ensures that the party with the strongest public support and momentum emerges as the unified challenger, creating a more cohesive and effective opposition voice in the political arena. But there's more. To achieve freedom, democracy, collaboration, and unity, all other minor parties participating in the Challenger series, whether they like it or not, must agree to stop campaigning and merge their resources and support behind the selected challenger. This strategic consolidation is aimed at producing a formidable alternate force. By coming together, these minor parties recognise the importance of presenting a united front and pooling their strengths. They understand that by consolidating their resources, expertise and support, they can amplify their impact and increase their chances of effectively challenging the incumbent parties. Through this strategic consolidation, the selected challenger emerges as a strong and united alternative force, equipped with the collective support and resources of the participating minor parties. This approach not only enhances the challenger's potential to attract voter support, but also demonstrates a commitment to collaboration and a shared vision for a better future for New Zealand. Although all but one must be sacrificed, by embracing the spirit of collaboration, the Challenger Selection Series goes beyond competition and fosters a sense of unity among alternative parties, maximising their collective strength and creating a powerful force for change in the political landscape. Freedom and democracy, that's the one and only thing that counts. Okay, let's dive more into this proposed challenge that's all about restoring freedom and democracy. One key aspect is putting the goal ahead of individual egos. It's like saying, hey, we're all in this together and we need to set aside personal ambitions for the greater good. Just like in a game of chess, sacrifices are necessary to secure victory. It's about understanding that sometimes you have to give up many valued pieces to protect your king and ultimately win the game. Think of it as a team sport. Each player knows their role and understands that their individual performance is crucial, but the team's success comes first. They put aside their egos, collaborate, and make sacrifices to achieve victory. So this proposed challenge reminds us that restoring freedom and democracy requires a collective effort and no division of effort. Sacrifices must be made to win a secure and winning position. Let's talk more about this cool system that aims to shake up and challenge the political establishment. It's all about giving alternative parties a fair shot at gaining prominence. No more feeling like they're fighting an uphill battle against the big players. This strategy recognizes the power of teamwork and collaboration. Instead of every party trying to go it alone, they come together and pool their resources and support behind the chosen challenger. It's all about putting the common goal of restoring freedom and democracy above individual ambitions. Let's present a united front where egos take a back seat and collaboration takes center stage. So, in a nutshell, this strategy gives alternative parties a fair chance, harnesses their collective strength, and encourages collaboration. It's like a recipe for success in the pursuit of freedom and democracy. Never forget this. The goal is to restore freedom and democracy in God's own. So that means getting sufficient MPs into Parliament to be the kingmaker after this year's election. We've proposed how we find the strongest challenger among the alternative parties. This gives them the recognition they deserve and significantly increases their chances of gaining public attention and support. It's like putting them in the spotlight and giving them a megaphone to amplify their voices. By shining a light on the strongest challenger and all of us backing them, we're leveling the playing field and ensuring that their message reaches a broader audience. It's all about capturing the public's attention and generating the support these alternative parties need to make a real impact. This is about boosting our democracy. With the Challenger Selection Series, voters get to choose from a diverse lineup of parties and their unique perspectives. It's like having a buffet of political options where you can sample different flavors and find the one that resonates with you most. But here's the real kicker. This series also helps us avoid some major headaches. We all know how nasty infighting can get. We can sidestep all of that drama and keep the focus on the big picture, which is about restoring freedom and democracy. No more wasting energy on internal conflicts. When the winner is decided, everyone involved must shake hands with the winner, congratulate them on a fight well fought, and then pledge their undying allegiance to win the ultimate goal of being the kingmaker after the election. Friends, it's time to make noise and get our message heard loud and clear. We're all in this together, and we won't tolerate any vote-splitting nonsense. Our goal is crystal clear: freedom and democracy. No ifs, buts, or maybes. Here's the deal. If a party doesn't stand a chance of reaching that all-important threshold of 5% of the vote or winning an electorate seat, it's time for them to step aside gracefully. We've got to be strategic and maximize our chances of success. Together we're stronger. United we stand, divided we fall. So let's spread the word far and wide. Let's make it known that we're serious about unity and achieving our common goal. We're here for freedom and democracy, not for personal goals or egos. It's time to make a statement and show the world that we're a force to be reckoned with. Remember, my friends, our strength lies in our collective determination. So let's rally together, make smart decisions, and pave the way for a future that embraces freedom, democracy, and the power of unity. We can make it happen. Are you with me? Of course you are. So here's the plan to come up with a winner that we can all get behind. It's time for you to get involved and for us to make our voices heard. First things first, we need to participate in the polling of minor parties. But how do we do that? It's simple. Just head over to votersunited.nz and sign up. It's free. This is your chance to have a say and make a difference. Whether they like it or not, the minor parties are going to have to listen to our voices through this polling. Once you're signed up, make sure to regularly cast your vote in their polling. The political parties will be paying intense attention to your choices, even if they say they're not. It is important we stay engaged and show our support for the parties that align with our vision of freedom and democracy. Every vote counts in the election, and it does right now. So let's make our votes count right now. Get on with it. But we can't stop there. We need to rally our friends, families, and everyone we know to join Voters United and participate in the polling as well. The more people we have on board, the stronger our collective voice becomes. So encourage everybody to join Voters United and to have a say. So, by the time we're 6 weeks away from the election, we'll be able to identify the party that has the best chance of making a real impact and securing enough seats to be the kingmaker. So let's get out there, sign up for Voters United, and encourage everybody we know to do the same. Together with you, we can make a difference and ensure that our chosen party gets the recognition and support it deserves in this playoff. It's time to stand united and show the world what we're made of. Let's fight smart for freedom and democracy, no longer being lied to, and let's restore God's own, the best place in the world to live and to raise a family. We must be the kingmaker after this election. Nothing less will do. If a party doesn't stand a chance of reaching that all-important threshold of 5% of the vote or winning an electorate seat, it's time for them to step aside gracefully. I can't emphasize that so much. We've got to be strategic and maximize our chances of success. Remember, the power is in our hands. Let's seize this opportunity and pave the way for a future that embraces freedom and democracy. Together, let's be winners. We can make it happen. Let's face it, our government has been hijacked by unelected experts and predatory interests, many controlled by powers beyond our shores. The current crop of MPs has let their people down badly, and they have to go. Many say we have been betrayed. I tend to agree. When thinking about who you will cast your vote for, ask yourself this. Does this candidate and party truly stand for restoring our sovereignty, our freedom and democracy, or will we end up with more of the same? Thank you for your attention. Enough talk. It's now time for action. Please sign up with Voters United. Do it now before you get distracted and forget. Join your favourite party and get involved because they need you, even if it is merely being a silent member or being a minor donor. No matter how small your contribution is, it's important because the collective effort of many is what works. By getting involved at the party level, you influence the party's direction. Of overriding importance, we must think, talk, and behave like winners. Then we will be winners. Good is on our side, and good ultimately prevails over evil. Again, thank you for your attention.